To make the bangle, you actually need very little material. All you need for stringing is 10-pound test monofilament. You will need to cut 2 4-foot pieces. Again, cut 2 pieces, and each piece is 4 foot long. And you will need 1 color, 2 colors, or 4 colors. You can't only do 3 colors. This one has 2 colors, this one has 4 colors. I'm using 6mm check fire polish beads because the 6mm are bigger. That means that the bracelet works up quicker than the 4mm. But I really like the size of this more than the 6mm. So anyways, this is what you're going to need to do the bangle. Let's get started. So I laid my beads down the way that I want them to look when I picked them up. So my rosaline and my topaz are going to be across from each other, and my amethyst and my peridot are going to be across from each other. So this actually starts the way this started, but we're not doing any seed beads. We're skipping that. So I have 1 string here, okay? Take one of the 4-foot strings and pick up the beads that you want across from each other. So for me, I want the pink and the topaz across, so slide those down, okay, and I'm going to go over and under. Now these are 6mm, so I have to go over and under twice, and if you're doing 4 and if you're doing 6/0 seed beads, you only go over and under 1 time. So bring this knot down to the center. Okay, my knot's actually acting a little funny. Okay, I want them to be side by side, not have like a V shape. They have like this weird V shape. If they do that, then it's not going to lay properly. So I need them to sit side by side, just like that. And I'm just going to check and make sure that my ends are the same length, or close to the same length. Okay, it's good enough. Okay, so now I have this, okay? Pull that tight. Now I'm going to go to my 2nd string. Okay, and I'm going to pass under that knot right there that we just made. Pass underneath that knot, just like that. Okay, let this fall to the center of the 2nd string. And I'm going to pick up, let's see, I'm going to do green on this side and purple on this side. Slide those down like that. I'm going to go over and under twice because of the 6mm. Remember to do 1 time if you're doing 4mm or 6/0 seed beads, or even 8/0s. Okay, so bring this knot down. Okay, looks like this. And if you have to, push these together. You need these to be side by side, not that weird V shape thing that they're doing. Side by side like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the pink and the topaz, and just like I did before, with the side that's pink, I'm going to pick up a pink, and with the side that's the topaz color, I'm going to pick up that color, and I'm going to go over and under twice, right side first, right over the left, and then over, under. Bring that down. Okay, now I have to make sure, see this here, both strings are coming out one side, so I need to make sure that they are crossed. So I'm pulling that through there, pulling this down. I need this to sit between these 2 beads like that. Okay, so pull that tight. This is going to loosen up. Pull this tight again so I can go all 4 like this. Okay, so I have to do this one for it to straighten out. So I'm going to these strings now, and I'm picking up my purple and my green. When you go to pick up the next beads, make sure you grab it right at the base and pull the strings all the way out. Okay, so I'm going to go over and under twice. Pull this down. Now I have to fix my first row, okay, and then bring this down, and I have to fix my other row because that's loosening up, and I have to make sure that the strings are X'd like this, okay, like that. And if you want, you can come in here and squeeze these beads and push them around so they lay right. Now, monofilament is silky, especially this name brand. What is it name brand I'm using? Andy, I think it is. It's kind of worn off. I think it says Andy. This string, which I prefer, is silky, so it's slipping on me. Okay, so that looks good. I have to go back to this one. Okay, so I constantly have to make sure it's laying right. So, this side here, I'm going to pick up my topaz. And this side over here, I'm going to pick up my rosaline, that's what it's actually called. And then right over left, and then go under twice. Bring this down, and then pull this one tight. Okay. So, just like that. So it's the same weave from now on, okay? What I just showed you with this, it's the same exact thing. So keep going doing this. And if you're using a monofilament that's really silky like mine, which I love this one, this Andy one is my favorite, you'll have to constantly make sure it's tight. Okay. I'm going to do this one more time. Now I'm doing the next one, grabbing it from the center, pulling my strings out. Here's my topaz, and here is my pink. Right over the left string, and then over and under twice. Okay. Pull them tight. So keep going doing this, and if any problems, just rewind it. What I'm doing here is the same exact thing I did here. Okay, I just started this one with seed beads, and this one I'm not starting with seed beads because this one is going to be a bangle. So keep going doing this, and once I get to the length I need, I'll be back. So I'm now at the length that I need for a bangle, and by the way, if there are two colors, if you're using 4 colors, and there's 2 colors that you want to be shown on the top, for me, I wanted the purple and the pink to be on the top, so I kept, as I made it, I kept bending it like this, so it would keep this shape as I made it, and it stayed like this. It's curved like this, so now when you close it, this will stay on the top, and the pink and green will stay on that side, and the purple and topaz will stay on that side. It's pretty neat. This one that I made does it. Even though I flip it around, it always wants to lay like this, which, that's how I want it to lay. It was just right. Okay, so when I started this, I started with the rosaline and the topaz, okay? And I ended off down here with the purple and green. So I have 4 beads left, 1 of each color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pink strand and my topaz strand, okay? And I'm going to pick up my last 2 beads, the pink and topaz. Slide those down, okay, and I need to close this, and when you go to close this, make sure that it's laying flat. Make sure it's not twisting. You need to lay right, okay? So I have my strands like this. I need the bracelet to connect like this. I'm going to take this pink side and I'm going to pass through this little loop right there, okay? So pass through there. And then I'm going to take my string here with a topaz bead, and I'm going to pass through the opposite side of the loop. So now my strings are crisscrossed, and these 2 here are loosening up, so I have to tighten those. Okay. So now when I pull my strings, whatever you want to call them, this is what they do. See how the pink is lining up and the topaz is lining up? That's what we want it to do. Now I'm going to loosen this up, and I have to do my under and over knot, so I'm going to go and do that 1, 2. Now sometimes it doesn't take the first time, so you have to pay attention to that. Okay, now pull this tight. Okay, looks good. So I'm going to take those same strings again. The one here that's at the topaz, I'm going to pass up through the next topaz bead. I may need my tweezers. Okay, that's to the topaz. Then I'm going to go to my pink one and pass up to the next pink bead. Okay, so these are good. That went well right there. Now what's confusing to me is adding these two beads. I have to put one here, okay, and one there. So right now, I'm going to come down here and grab these beads. Okay. I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to do the purple one. Now I have to catch this string that's up here for the purple and green, the string that's in between there. Now look how hard that is to see. It's really hard to see. So you want to turn this at an angle and get in there somehow. Grab that string. Now if it doesn't work, the good thing is you could take it out. Okay, so I think that I have it. Yes, it looks like I have it, okay? So I got the purple. Now I have to do the green, and I will twist this so I can access the green because it's on the bottom. Okay, so now here's my green bead. And the same thing, I have to go through here, and I have to go through the opposite direction of what I went. So my string's exiting out this side, so I'm going to go through where that's exiting out at, and I have to grab that string. Okay, let's see. Now the test to know if it worked or not is to pull the strings. I'm pulling the wrong string. Okay, let's see. Yes, it looks like it worked. Okay. Now I just want to make sure that I got it. Let me see. I'm not sure if the green one caught it. That's the purple one. This was really hard to see with 4mm. Okay, I caught it. Okay. So now I'm going to do my over and under thing. So I'm going to loosen one side up and take this string and go over and under. Let's see, actually no I don't. Never mind. Okay. There I am, okay? So I just went over and under. Okay, now I'm going to pull that tight. And then I'm going to go back to the pink and the topaz and pull those tight. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my purple and green, and what I have to do is pass up through the next bead to connect this, to close this gap. Okay. Here's this one. Pull that tight. Go back and pull all the strings tight. I've even pulled all 4 of them tight at one time. Okay, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Alright, so now this is what I learned. Don't tie the knot after you come out the bead. So right now I'm coming out of these beads. So what I have to do is take a string. I'll do the pink one. I have to pass through, okay, straight across. Try to go over this one here. You have to catch that one. And it can be very difficult. Okay, I think I did that. Okay, so now I'm on this side. Okay, and this may be confusing, but now I'm going to go through the topaz. Okay, so I shot across, and right here I am at the topaz. So to tie a knot, I'm going to go underneath this topaz string. Did I catch that? This would be easier if it wasn't clear. Okay, there we go. Make a loop, go through it twice. Okay, and before I tie this tight, I'm going to pull all these strings, okay, and then pull this knot down. And then pass through the topaz bead, okay. And if you want, you can work with the same string. Tie like 3 knots of the same string, then cut it off. Don't leave it. So I just tied one there. So now I have to shoot back across, come out the other side, okay, just like that. And now I have to tie a knot in front of the pink bead. So I'm going back and forth between the pink and the topaz. They were across from each other. So when you go to tie knots for the purple and the green, you're going to shoot across from purple and green tying knots. So I just made a loop, went through it twice, and bring that down. So now go through the pink bead. And if you need to, use tweezers. Okay, and then I have to go across again, and then when I come out, I'm going to go through the topaz bead and tie a knot and pass through there. And I could do another one. I can do 3 or 4 knots and trim that off, okay? And then go to another string. And what you want to do is you want to try to stay with the same string and tie 3 to 4 knots with that string. And then after you tie those knots, cut it off. Because if you go back and forth between strings, you will forget how many knots you tied with that string. It's impossible to know how many you tied. So this is the best way to do it. So I hope you were able to do yours. It is very confusing, but think of it as a puzzle. Don't get frustrated. That's how I think of beading. It's like a puzzle to me. I love to figure it out. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so go ahead and finish tying knots, and you'll be done with the bangle.